Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd just like to repeat the point that Councillor Brewer has made, and that those in $1 million homes will be $25 savings. This is a real measured and very possible policy to vote for today. It's not at all a knee-jerk reaction like some of the other things that we might face and have faced over this term. It's something that we debate every year, and there should be a few of us around the table that can edge this up by such a small amount, especially in regards to many of the residents who are sitting in the $1 million homes are in fact, has been pointed out by Councillor Brewer and Councillor Fletcher, grannies on fixed incomes. Simple as that, and we've got them all in our wards. If we want to talk about regional cut-through, that's about as regional cut-through as you can get. Elderly fixed incomes in houses with prices, valuations going up by the day. And this does send a signal. It's a tweaked signal, not a massive change at all. I'd just like to finish with pointing out the irony of the public didn't ask for it argument, and especially point out the irony in the Mayor's proposal itself. So if you look at the UAGC section on paragraph 17 and then cast your eyes over the page to paragraph 25 on Māori freehold land rates, I just think there's a huge irony here, folks, where it mentions for UAGC that the majority wanted the amount to be the same or lower, and people are asking for that and therefore won't be supported by the Mayor. And then you switch over to paragraph 25 where the issue was, quote, not well supported and there was not good understanding of the issues, but that is being supported. So we need to be very careful about how we push that lever. I would argue, as other people have done before, that we actually don't understand the UAGC. We've got a lot of acronyms in local government, and that's the biggie. So if you're going to push that lever in terms of they didn't understand it, let's do that across the board for everything.
Thank you very much. Councillor Cooper.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is something that does leave me torn. In supporting the ITL last year, it was a kind of a way of helping to reduce or increase the UAGC. It was not taken on the value of the house, so it actually smoothed a bit. But at the same time, I am supportive of an increase in the UAGC, but I don't think it's the right time to do it while we have the ITL, because we already have that lever in place. In my community, and I'm very mindful that the local board have fed back, and my two local boards have fed back and said they don't want to change. And I'm sure all the councillors here will be listening to their local boards and going with them. But I think that's the issue here is it's not going to make a huge change at the moment, but once the ITL comes off, we have to start to use that lever to address the high value of our homes and the fact that there are a lot of people. I mean, my grandfather's 100 in August. You know, he bought his house in 1942. He's paying pretty big rates now, and he's been on the pension for nearly 40 years. You know, so he hasn't had any increase in income. He did get an inheritance when he was 80, but $500,000 of that was most of it went on my grandmother's hospital care. So, you know, most elderly people don't get the opportunity to increase their income. And I do think we've really got to address that because we have a growing older population and we're part of it. So at the moment, I'm not going to support this, though in principle I think that we need to move that way in the coming years. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. Is there...
I move that the vote be now put, Madam Chair.
I was going to do that anyway.
I'll second.
Right, so I'm going to put that by minute, by division, I'm sure. So you're voting on 450?
Your Worship?
No.
Councillor Nye?
No.
Councillor Brewer?
4.
Councillor Casey?
Oh,
Councillor Cashmore?
No.
Councillor Clow?
No.
Councillor Cooper?
no.
Councillor Darby?
4.
Councillor Philippaina?
Against.
Councillor Fletcher?
4.
Deputy Mayor Hulse?
No.
Councillor Crum?
Or
Councillor Lee?
No.
Councillor Penrose?
No.
Councillor Quacks?
Yes.
Councillor Stewart?
4.
Member Taipari?
No.
Member Tamahiri? Councillor Sir John Walker?
No.
Councillor Wayne Walker?
No.
Councillor Watson?
No.
Councillor Wood?
Yes.
Chair Webster?
No. Very difficult. Lost 7 votes to 6.
I move 399, Madam Chair.
Hang on, we do have another one.
It's a
to
3
go
cent
through.
difference.
We have moved by Councillor Casey. Have you got a seconder, Councillor
I'm
Casey?
sure I have.
I'll second.
Oh, you're going to second. Thank you, Arthur.
Arthur
Right.
was standing for re-election.
Councillor and I. Councillor Casey?
Yeah, we've heard today from lots. The UAGC is a regressive flat tax. Why should it be reduced? When you're struggling, every single penny that comes into your house counts. So a reduction of what amounts to $44 is a reduction. But it's also a signal. We've heard a lot about signals. I've heard a lot about being business friendly. Well, I actually want to be a part of a council that's people friendly. And the signal is to, if it's Middle New Zealand, what's below that? What's below Middle New Zealand? Is there a term for it? The people at the bottom, the ones with the really limited income. The signal it sends to them is that we are a people-friendly council and we care about those people. So it's a signal to say that we acknowledge your struggle to make ends meet in Auckland. So it's just as good a signal as the one to Middle New Zealand from across there. So I look forward to your support.
Thank you. Do you want to speak?
Yes, I do. And thank you for that. Look, I have serious concern for what's been raised around the table for the elderly in houses that are quite valued and the difficulty they have with fixed incomes. We all understand that situation. A situation that we need to find a solution for, but this is not the solution. What Kath has raised and I'm concerned about is that at the end of the day, it's the user pay when it comes to this. And as you know, in Auckland, a lot of houses are rented by the working class who've got nothing. Some of that working class are elderly people who've got nothing either, or are actually struggling daily to meet their costs in the world we live in today. And I think we need to use our initiative here with this to try and help in that, addressing at least part of that. We'll never address all of it. Auckland is becoming a very serious situation as far as costs are concerned for housing and a lot of other things. We've sat here today and we talked about transport earlier on and the problems with that and the cost to try and fix it. But housing is something that's concerned me for some time because our people have been rented out of houses, and I sent you a message once before. There's a tsunami of homeless elderly coming we don't find solutions. So please support this. Thank you.
I'm going to speak to that.
Oh, thank you, Councillor.
Well, I'm worried, Madam Chair, that the council may go for a negative situation here, which is on the cards with this council, I think. And, you know, I don't think councillors actually have been listening to what their communities are saying, especially Councillor Watson and Councillor Walker. They're both their local boards have given them have different position to what they had. And I think that's, you know, they must understand the pressures that people are under who are in valuable properties, but, you know, as one of the councils is saying, they've been there for a long time and they just can't afford the rates. And, you know, we have this power to have a uniform annual general charge, can be up to 30%. Some of the councils before amalgamation actually were up near 30%. And I think it makes it fairer than what we have at the present time. At the moment, I believe there's a flow of cash from over the harbour bridge over to the south side of Auckland from the North Shore, and that includes the Albany ward. Councillors Watson and Walker. So please don't vote for this. And all I want to point out that in 2008, the government, the Labor government, had a commission of inquiry into this. I think it was the Shand inquiry, which looked, and David Shand came down with a report saying that he believed targeted rates should go up to 50%. Instead of having a uniform charge, you would target ratepayers for certain services that were provided up to 50%. More fairness and equity in the system than what we have at the moment. You don't pay your Spark telephone bill or your Vector power bill on the value of your property, but that's the way that this council works. And this council is just not using the levers under the Local Government Act.
councillors,
And I ask
George,
that
please.
don't
It's an
support
election
this,
speech.
please.
Can I look? Hands are going up already.
I want to reply to that.
Can I just say, councillors, I was going to say, Councillor Watson and Councillor Walker are actually obviously regional councillors. And actually, if I hear,
We can speak for ourselves, Madam
all
Chair.
the time that, you know, money is going from the west to the east, from the north to the south. I mean,
No,
come
east to
on,
the west.
councillors, you're in charge of the budgets. Okay, so I know I've had, you know, people with their hands up. I think if, you know, it's now lunchtime and we've got
I'll be
lots.
very brief.
So, no,
Second that,
I'm not going
Madam
to
Chair.
take any more speakers on this.
I was going to be equally brief.
ridiculous.
I was
I
mentioned,
will
Madam
put-
Chair.
I'm going to
Point of
put-
order, Madam Chair.
I'm going to put by division.
Well, nobody's asked for a closure. They
just-
were in the middle of a debate.
This
The
is a
chair
waste
has-
of
I've
time,
seen it
members.
twice,
This
but
is a
nobody-
sucker pass.
Well, of
It's a
course
sucker
it is.
pass.
Thank you. Okay, so, go. I mean, I'm sure
park is, look
probably, look, the media could probably write the speeches that we hear every year on this.
No.
Councillor Anai,
Aye.
Councillor Brewer,
No.
Councillor Casey,
Yes.
No, we get this.
Councillor Cashmore,
No.
Councillor Clow,
No.
Councillor Cooper, Councillor Darby,
Against.
Councillor Filipaina,
Against.
Councillor Fletcher,
No.
Deputy Mayor Hulse,
No.
Councillor Crum,
Against.
Councillor Lee,
No.
Councillor Penrose, Councillor Quacks,
No.
Councillor Stewart,
No.
Member Taipari,
Four.
Member Tamahiri,
Four.
Councillor Sir John Walker,
It's good.
Councillor Wayne Walker,
No.
Councillor Watson,
We gotta go through.
Councillor Wood,
No.
Chair Webster,
Thank you. Right.
I almost feel like I
Can we
won.
now,
I think technically George and I
thank
won.
you,
I think we won.
thank you. Can we now go back to the substantive motion on UAGC? I'm going to put that the UAGC be set at $394. Do we need a division on this?
Yes.
Okay, division. Call for.
Your Worship,
Aye.
Councillor Anai,
Aye.
Councillor Brewer,
No.
Councillor Casey,
Yes.
Councillor Cashmore,
Yes.
Councillor Clow,
Yes.
Yes.
Councillor Cooper, Councillor Darby,
Against.
Councillor Filipaina,
Aye.
Councillor Fletcher,
No.
Deputy Mayor Hulse,
Aye.
Councillor Crum,
Against.
Councillor Lee,
Aye.
Councillor Penrose, Councillor Quacks,
No.
Councillor Stewart,
No.
Member Taipari,
Four.
Member Tamahiri, Councillor Sir John Walker, Councillor Wayne Walker,
Yes.
Councillor Watson,
Yes.
Councillor Wood,
No.
Chair Webster,
Yes. Thank you, councillors. That's passed. We will now go on to the interim transport levy. And I have a amendment from Councillor Clow, seconded by Councillor Casey. Councillor Clow.
Thank you. In December last year, when the Mayor came back with the initial proposal, Councillor Casey and myself put up an amendment at that stage where we suggested a 2.5% rate strike and signalled our intention on a change of the structure and formula to the interim transport levy. I am delighted this week that staff have come back with a 2.4% rate increase, which is lower than what was signalled, and I'm delighted that the Mayor has also come back and has endorsed that recommendation from the staff, or I should say that target that's been achieved. I just want to be quite clear that I'm clearly supportive of the interim transport levy and the associated accelerated transport program. There is no issue there. I believe it's essential.